WSC union members say enough is enough. The National Security Minister chimes in on gun control, and RBDF Marines uncover 40+ pounds of marijuana. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tyler Simonet with your JCN News for this Tuesday, December 15th. Well, members of the Water and Sewage Corporation Management Union and the Bahamas Utilities and Allied Workers Union say enough is enough in a release issued this morning. In fact, both union presidents have asked their members to exit all WSC WhatsApp groups effective immediately, turn in all cell phones belonging to the corporation, and block the numbers of Executive Chairman Adrian Gibson and WSC General Manager Elwood Donaldson. You see, both unions are citing a number of outstanding matters, which include the corporation's failure to complete the management union's industrial agreement, failure to counter and negotiate a new industrial agreement with Busau, failure to pay overtime associated with Hurricane Dorian, unilaterally varying terms and conditions in the industrial agreement with respect to accrued vacation, transferring day workers to shift workers without consultation and agreement, and failure to pay outstanding Christmas bonuses for the year 2020. Here's Busau's President Dwayne Woods on the union's plans moving forward. Chairman Adrian Gibson was unavailable for comment up to news time. Minister of National Security Marvin Dayam says he applauds anyone who calls for gun control, adding that he agrees with the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Halton Motri, on his sentiments on the matter. He says this much outside of cabinet this morning.
We have far too many illegal weapons on our streets, but you know, gun control is we definitely need it. But you know, the people who are brandishing those weapons are our kids, for the most part, and so we can say that we need gun control, and we do, and I support what the Speaker is saying. But we also need to live up to our responsibilities as parents, as community members, you know. Wherever you see, just is no different from drugs. If you have a location or community that's inundated with drugs, it means that there is a demand for it. And so how do you diminish that demand? Same thing. Guns would not be coming here if there wasn't a demand for it, if people weren't making money. Minister
Dames adds that law enforcement heads continue to build relationships with regional counterparts, mainly the United States.
We have an excellent relationship with our neighbors to the north, and they have been helping us tremendously with targeting, with tracing, with intelligence. That's very important to us. And we have the NCIA, we can't forget that. That is now law. The legislation is out there, and very shortly we will be announcing its new director, who would have already been identified, and Bahamians are going to be proud. They're going to be proud with what they can expect from that agency.
Minister Dames also adds this about police efforts.
The police, they're always looking at ways to improve its outreach, but we also need community support. As I said, you can't effective policing. If you look at, any definition of effective policing and enforcement, right, and controls must include the community. All right, and you can have dragnet here and dragnet there. At the end of the day, what it calls is for improved relations, improved partnerships, all right, and prevention.
Now, the minister noted that crime is trending downward. Continuing on with the National Security Minister, Marvin Dames this morning responded to concerns raised by PLP Senator Michael Darville, who says though he supports a continuous register, he has a problem with the way the bill was handled by the government, adding that the bill was laid in the lower chamber and debated 5 days later with little to no consultation. Well, Mr. Dames says this.
We would have done expansive consultation, maybe the most ever. And you would have heard that from independent members of politicians. You would have heard that. We made it our business to ensure that we included as many persons as possible and all of the feedback that we have gotten up to this point, that was very encouraging. That's why we had, it passed with relative ease in Parliament because of the wide and broad consultation we would have carried out. And so we're pretty confident that no voter would be disenfranchised in this process.
He says the government went through extra efforts and pains to ensure that this piece of legislation protects every voter. With several COVID-19 vaccines on the market, former Minister of Health Dr. Dwayne Sands recommended to the press that the Bahamas should independently assess the vaccine that will be selected to be distributed throughout the country. Now, outside of the Cabinet building this morning, Minister of Health Renwood Wells responded by saying that the government will do its due diligence, adding that this is the truth about vaccines.
Well, the reality is there are lots of vaccines that were under development and lots of vaccines that are being used, so you have to be specific. Pfizer has a vaccine, Moderna has a vaccine, AstraZeneca has a vaccine, Australia, I believe, was developing their own vaccine, Israel is developing its vaccine, India is developing its vaccine, China has about 3 vaccines, the Russian has about 2. So it all depends on which vaccine you're actually speaking about. Obviously, any vaccine that the Bahamas government chooses is going to be one that we feel offers the most effective, safe deployment and benefit for the Bahamian people.
The United States, United Kingdom, and Canada have already approved the Pfizer/BioNTech vaccine in recent weeks. However, the minister highlighted the Bahamas' track record when it comes to vaccinations.
We in this country, in the Ministry of Health, has been in the business of securing the health of the Bahamian people long before independence. And I think the record of the Ministry of Health in regards to vaccines, be they the polio, measles, chicken pox, measles, mumps, rubella, the flu vaccine, you would have seen that the Ministry of Health has done a fantastic job when it comes to the vaccination of the Bahamian people. As a matter of fact, we have one of the highest, most effective vaccines rates, not just in the Caribbean, but in the world.
Now, there have been several reports about side effects like Bell's palsy. There's also been a lot of skepticism among Bahamians about the vaccines. Minister Wells adds this.
I'm not afraid of skepticism. I believe that people ought to be able to question and challenge and investigate and look so that they feel comfortable enough with what it is they're doing. You know, our bodies are our own temples, and what we do with it and what we allow into it is what we do and what we allow in. And so the Bahamian people are very investigative, very deep diving kind of population, and so you would expect that our people would be looking at all of the requisite information to assure themselves that whatever it is they're putting in is going to do for them what they expect, and they're not going to get that kind of adverse effect.
Minister Wells once again stresses that the government will not force anyone to take the vaccine. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.